Hi, and welcome to What's the Tea in L&E. I'm Leah.
I'm Emily.
And we are management side employment attorneys with Woods Rogers Van Deventer Black. And today we are talking about weight discrimination in the workplace. So Emily, is it unlawful to discriminate against an employee on the basis of their weight?
Currently, not usually. It's not illegal federally and not in most states. There are a handful, Michigan and a few major cities that have made it illegal, but typically no. However, this issue does seem to disproportionately affect women, which can give rise to other types of issues.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, if you think about this idea of weight bias and how that could come into play with regard to promotions or comments in the workplace and how that more negatively may impact the women in your workplace. And there is science to back this up.
Study after study shows that weight bias and discrimination on the basis of weight negatively affects women much more than men.
Even economically.
So much so that some studies have found that an increase of 10% in a woman's body mass correlates with a 6% decrease in her wages.
That is insane. And that is painful to hear. I mean, absolutely painful to hear that.
It is quite difficult, but even more shocking, it's difficult to measure just how much this issue impacts women and their wages. We know there's a relationship, but some studies have indicated that if an obese woman loses about 65 pounds, the increase in her pay afterwards is the same as if she had gotten a master's degree.
Oh my goodness. I mean, just think about that, right? And we're not saying that this doesn't impact men in the workplace. We're just saying that more often than not, this tends to negatively impact women in the workplace. And it clearly comes into play with regard to actual discrimination in the form of pay discrimination, yes. Right? But think about promotions, right? Maybe someone is deemed, or sort of there's this weight bias issue and they might be deemed lazy or not disciplined enough, or someone may unfairly assume they're not fit enough to be the warehouse supervisor. But it also comes into play in terms of harassment or a hostile environment, comments in the workplace.
Absolutely. I mean, I'm sure most of us have actually seen this in our day-to-day lives. Some folks feel like it's their right to comment on another employee getting more pizza or not working out or a weight gain. In reality, especially when these comments disproportionately seem to affect one sex, those types of comments over and over again can create a harassment issue.
Oh yeah, I mean, just think about comments that you hear in the workplace based on what a woman might be wearing, right? Oh, that really shows off your figure well, or oh, I don't know if that's shapely enough for your body. I mean, comments about dress, comments about food, comments about exercise, and we're not saying that employees shouldn't be able to motivate each other.
Correct.
Right? And we're not saying that you shouldn't have employee wellness programs. We're just saying train your managers to be mindful of when these comments appear unwelcome and uncomfortable, and when they can touch on microaggressions.
Absolutely, and keep this issue in mind when you're determining how much to pay your female employees, when you're looking at pay equity issues. You just want to be aware that this could be potentially impacting that.
Yeah, and finally, while we haven't touched on it here, obesity is not necessarily deemed a disability under the law, but oftentimes obesity may be a condition that is comorbid with another condition, right? Such as diabetes or a thyroid condition. And so do be mindful as well that you may need to consider accommodations and go through the general interactive process.
Well, thank you for joining us for another episode of What's the Tea in L&E.